What is up, guys? Today we got Bad Batch Season 3 episodes 10 and 11, and I gotta say, I am very pleased with these episodes. Some of the best of the entire season, I would say. I really did like them. I liked them a lot. And honestly, I would argue episode 10 is better than episode 11. Um, it was very, it was very dark. Like, to see what the Empire is doing. Emery, first of all, um, she kind of like, I think, I don't remember why it was brought up, but Hemlock starts talking to him. I think he starts talking about something, and then Emery's like, about the project, and Emery's like, well, or yeah, it was something about Nala Se getting demoted and in prison, and Emery's like, well, I think I deserve this role to be the chief scientist. So Hemlock agrees. He gives her chief scientist and gives her like, all right, since you're the chief scientist now, let's give you all the updates on Project Necromancer. And I was like, all right, yeah, sure, we're getting back to this. But then they kind of did a 180 on me. I didn't expect to see it, but the Empire is now housing, kidnapping, and basically enslaving children to have M counts and test M counts to get it for their project, and that shocked me. Like, I didn't expect that, and I probably should have. I kind of figured they were doing something because actually the first parts of the episode is of a force sensitive baby alien. We don't even have a species name on the species that it is, so I don't even know what to call it. But it kind of, I don't know, it's furry for sure. But we see a child that's force sensitive on this planet tries to get like a toy, and it uses the force and knocks over a vase, so that gets the attention of like the people at the market that he's at. And then we see that one of the people that witnessed it puts a tab on the child for the Empire come get it, because that stuff they know for sure is outlawed and all that stuff, and like that's not a good thing. And they call the child like cursed, and they call it gifted as well. And they also say you shouldn't even be talking about that stuff because yeah, that stuff's dangerous for them against the Empire. So yeah, we get that. But again, back to Emery, we see that she stumbles into the place, sees that there's children that are being tested for their M counts. They get the blood drawn out of them. It made me think about the adrenochrome stuff, the adrenochrome theories that, they use blood from children to live longer. It's kind of ironic how Palpatine is trying to live longer and he's now using children's blood to try to do that. Just a big coincidence, but I'm sure, yeah, just a coincidence. Back to the story, though. Yeah, they test the patient's bloods, the specimens, as Hemlock calls them, but then one of them comes up. It's a Iktachi, I think that's the species name. It's the same species as Sazy Tim, but it's a female, young Iktachi. Her name is Eva. We find out later on. Actually, I don't remember if she like outright said her name on the first interaction with Emery, but yeah, she gives her name and stuff. It was really cool to see that. Hemlock obviously like, oh, hey, limit your contact. They're just specimens. Don't humanize them and all that stuff because they're just specimens. They're not meant to be socialized with, all that stuff because they're just projects. But so yeah, you can definitely see the evil of Hemlock in the Empire, and all that stuff. Hemlock then gets a meeting with Tarkin, and Tarkin, this is weird to me. So apparently this project is classified to even Tarkin, but Tarkin's a Grand Moff now. Wouldn't he like be able to know everything that's going on in the Empire? I feel like that's just weird that information like that's classified to him. Like, because Tarkin's literally Palpatine's number one. Like, he's basically even higher ranked than Vader, to be honest. So it's weird that stuff is even classified to him, and you can see that Tarkin's a little ticked off. He's like, "Well, it better be worth it, because if this project fails, your whole science division and stuff, that's going to be gone, and you're going to be gone too. There's going to be a lot of troubles for you as well if you don't get this done." So yeah, Tarkin was obviously pretty bossy, pretty, all that jazz. And honestly, it was kind of nice to see him that way for once, because Hemlock's an evil dude, man. Like, all the stuff he's doing, the fact that like information is being kept away from Tarkin. So like, I feel like Tarkin has a right to be that way towards Hemlock. But yeah, anyway, and right after that, he contacts the Clone X to go after Omega, and he was like, the Clone X is like, "I don't need help, I can do this on my own." And he was like, "Can you?" Because he failed the last mission, and the last mission was against the Bad Batch, and we know he had that huge fight with Crosshair, and then Hauser saved him. So yeah, he failed that mission. So obviously Hemlock knows that, and he's like, "If you fail again, don't come back. If you can't get Omega this time, don't even bother coming back." So yeah, it's pressure on him this time. So that's kind of the extent of the Hemlock stuff. My favorite stuff of this episode, personally, was the Emery and Eva stuff. I really like that. Eva's the Itachi young Force user. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that, but I really like that. Like, Eva, the clone, or the Force sensitive children really represent the innocence of children, and even more preference to protect children. Like, you should do your very best to protect children from evil, and that includes stuff like this. Like, don't bend your morals for anyone, even if there's any benefits to you. Children being innocent is more important than whatever you desire. And I just really got that from this episode. It's actually pretty emotional, but yeah, I really like the Eva and Emery stuff. There's two others, I believe. One of them was Jax. I don't know the species of Jax. He was like green. And then the other one was like all blue, which is funny. I'm pretty sure the other one was a Pantoran. She didn't really have much in this episode, but she was pretty quiet. But we see that Jax is really trying to escape. When Hemlock leaves, he knows the data pad stuff that he's doing. He's like, so when Emery comes to check on him and do the blood thing, he makes his move. He snatches the data pad from Emery, tries to get it, but obviously the Empire keeps it on lock. Scorch comes in and stuns him, and Emery's pretty upset about it. She had the situation under control, so she was really mad that Scorch did this. You can tell that Emery definitely has a soft side with these children from the very beginning, and she also has a conversation with Nala Se, who's in prison, and she wanted to know more about the project, but I think we really know why she went to her. She wanted more information about the children, and Nala Se, I really didn't like her in the Clone Wars. Like, she's well written, I think, but I don't think we were ever supposed to, based on the Clone Wars, I don't think we were ever supposed to think of her as a good person. But it seems like in the Bad Batch, they're really trying to emphasize that Nala Se now is a good person. And I can kind of see the character development. Like, she regrets working with the Empire. She might even regret what she did with the clones. I'm not sure. But she's definitely against all of this stuff. They're doing it to children now. And she encourages Emery to help them as well, because that's what Nala Se was actually in prison for, I'm pretty sure, because she was trying to help the children. It wasn't because she let Omega escape. I'm pretty sure it was because she was trying to let the children escape. But yeah, that stuff was interesting. So yeah, and then I guess before that, Emery, after the incident with Jax, Eva was concerned about him, and he was like, he'll be okay, right? He's not going to be in trouble. And she also asked, like, if she can go home. Like, the girl asked a lot of questions. It it represents the innocence of children. It was really touching. I really felt that, but again, then Eva's kind of upset about it because once Emery arrives, she's notified that Jax is now in like solitary confinement for 2 days, and Eva's obviously upset about this because Emery promised Eva that Jax would be okay, and obviously she's mad. And it's funny because she Emery was calling them by their specimen and their numbers. So I think Eva was specimen 54. So she first went by, "Hey, what's wrong, specimen 54?" And Eva doesn't answer. And then she hesitates a little bit and then says, "Eva, what's wrong?" And then Eva starts talking. Then he's like, she's like, you said Jax would be okay and stuff," and he's like, "You lied to me," and stuff like that. And yeah, and then she's just like, "We just all want to go home," because Eva also asks like when she's going home too. It was really touching stuff, but yeah, and she stops talking after that, and then Emery, she goes back to the M count translator thing that they did in like the first 3 episodes, and then she takes out Omega's stuff, and takes out the doll that Omega had and puts it on the doorstep of Eva's door. So she gave Eva Omega's toy, which is pretty touching. So yeah, for the first episode, episode 10, I really did like this stuff with Emery and Eva. They're already great characters. I think Eva's already my favorite character just from one episode. Not from the series. I wouldn't say she's my favorite character, but she became like an insanely amazing character in one episode. I can't recall basically any character becoming that good of a character for me in just one episode. Eva was written insanely well for a child, and I really liked it. It really touched me. And Emery, the female clone, you can definitely tell like she's changing, and I really liked Emery in this episode because it's like half and half. She's like, she cares for the children, but also she's sticking to the Empire, still calling them by specimen numbers and stuff like that, still saying like they're safe here, stuff like that you should stay here. But at the same time, she's like, this stuff is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. So yeah, that was a great episode in my opinion. I would say S tier for sure, probably 9.4, 9.5. And again, honestly, might be better than the next episode. And I think I'll actually cut this right here because I think I've gone pretty far with just this one episode. I don't want to make it too long. So I'll cut this video right here. I'll make a separate video for episode 11. But yeah, I really like this episode. The stuff with Eva and Emery really hit me. The stuff with Hemlock is pretty cool as well. Scorch, I forgot to mention. Scorch is just ruthless, bro. I don't know if the chips are enhanced for clone commandos, but man, he is ruthless. Like, he just doesn't give a dang. And I didn't even mention the Cad Bane stuff, actually. Cad Bane obviously got the tip from the guy for the Force-sensitive child. He kidnaps a Force-sensitive child successfully. Toto is there as well. It was nice to see some comedic, comedic timing or comedic break, because Toto's obviously always funny. And kidnapping a child isn't necessarily funny stuff at all. It's pretty dark, but Toto kind of lightened the mood. He's like, because the kid starts crying when they're kidnapping, and he's like, "I'm no nanny droid," because Cad Bane tells him to stop the kid from crying. "I'm no nanny droid," but then he finds the doll, and he's like, "Oh, I did it." It was good comedic timing, good comedic breaks from a rather dark episode, honestly, because there was really no humor. It was basically all dark and depressed, except for that one part, which ironically still had Cad Bane in it, which most stuff with Cad Bane is pretty serious. But the one comedic stuff happened with Cad Bane in it. So that was pretty funny. And I forgot to even mention, like, they dropped the child off, and Emery is very shocked to see a smaller, basically infant, on their doorstep. And she's like, I'm very shocked that this is a child. I wouldn't expect this. And Cad Bane's like, oh, is that a problem? Then Emery asks to, like, where did it come from? And Cad Bane's like, yeah, you would be surprised how much trouble that would cause if I told you. So yeah, he gets his pay. Until next time. Cad Bane's such a sick character, even though he's kidnapping children. I love Cad Bane. I think I've ranked him as an S tier character, even higher than like Grievous and Savage and people like that. So yeah, he's definitely up there for one of my favorite characters. Definitely, I would say my favorite bounty hunter for sure. But yeah, good to see Cad Bane. Yeah, Emery even more like doubtful of the Empire because now they're abducting infants essentially. Yeah, it was just a crazy episode. And I mentioned this on Twitter, but I already, like, two main people I watched, Star Wars Theory and Star Wars Meg, like, oh, wow, this is just like the Jedi. No, it's not like the Jedi. Stop it. I hate that comparison. It was like, oh, the Jedi kidnap children. Like, no, they don't. They have consent of the parents, and they actually train children for good. They provide amazing care for children. Like, I can't see how in the world you would compare the Jedi to the Empire in this situation. It's stupid. It really shows how much brainwashed these people have become against the Jedi. It's crazy. But yeah, anyway, that, again, a great episode, really touching, really dark and depressing. Yeah, Scorch is still ruthless. Cad Bane's still ruthless. I really liked Emery and Eva in this episode. Hemlock's in trouble. Like, this is a big risk for him now that Tarkin knows about this stuff. Because Tarkin actually called about the funding. I didn't even mention that, but Tarkin called because, like, the funding for Hemlock's project is getting pretty insane. He's like, you better hope your project is worth all this money, or else you're going down along with your project. So yeah, stressful for Hemlock, as it should be. I hope he dies this season. I bet he will. I bet he's gonna die this season. It'll be pretty satisfying to see him go. So yeah, great episode. Again, I'd give it a 9.4 to a 9.5 out of 10. I'll probably make the next episode tomorrow. Episode 11 tomorrow. That'll be out tomorrow. So we'll see you then. Have a good one.